most royals make it a point to be dull, and then there's Sarah Ferguson. From Botox fillings and wild...
Popularly known as Fergie, touched on how the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are creating their own path as they raise their two young children.
Will Sarah Ferguson follow in Harry and Meghan's footsteps with a tell-all interview? Who is the mystery woman giving Prince...
It was just past midnight, the kind of hour when Hollywood's asleep and the royal world's still snoring. But that night, something exploded online that no one saw coming. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York herself, had just lit the internet on fire. Out of nowhere, she posted photos that were never meant to see daylight old. Intimate, jaw-dropping pictures of Meghan Markle back from her yacht partying days. And guess who was right there beside her? Prince Andrew. Not standing off to the side, not caught by accident, he was close. Uncomfortably close. Within minutes, Meghan's name was trending everywhere. Royal reporters who were already in their pajamas scrambled back to their cameras. Podcasts dropped, emergency episodes. Social media went into complete meltdown. And right in the middle of this digital hurricane, Meghan Markle herself reportedly in tears. She never saw it coming, especially not from Fergie. And that's what made it sting the most, because it wasn't just the photos that broke the internet, it was what those photos revealed.
There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind. Rachel Meghan Markle was a semi-expensive yacht girl, and she knows.
The first image hit like a thunderbolt. Meghan laughing on the deck of a luxury yacht, the kind of scene straight out of a billionaire's vacation movie. Wine glinting in her hair, designer sunglasses tilted just so, a drink in her hand, and laughter that screamed effortless glamour. Around her faces, the tabloids love to call international elite, the ones who spend summers in Monaco and winters in Dubai. Everything about that photo whispered privilege and luxury, not struggle and grind. But the moment everyone's eyes zoomed in on that frame, there he was. Prince Andrew, tan, smiling, and standing just a bit too close. Not in the background, not blurred, right beside her.
She's admitted to this now, made mistakes, but is she in the same position as him? I don't feel comfortable with that.
And then came the second picture, the one that detonated the internet. Meghan wasn't just there by chance this time. She was leaning in, whispering something into Andrew's ear, her hand resting lightly on his arm. Not the oops, excuse me kind of touch, but the kind of gentle familiarity that screams comfort. The pose said, "We know each other." The body language experts jumped out of nowhere, analyzing every movement, every millimeter of distance. Some said it was harmless, others swore it was something more intimate. And then, of course, came the theories, wild, viral, unstoppable.
Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it.
Online detectives started digging like never before. People zoomed into sunglasses, reflections, matched shadows, traced champagne bottle labels, even cross-referenced yacht registries trying to prove when and where it all happened. It was chaos, the kind of chaos that swallows social media whole. Within hours, the story was everywhere, from Twitter to TikTok, with hashtags like #YachtDays and #Meghan and Andrew flooding timelines. But through all the speculation, one question kept echoing. How did Meghan even know Prince Andrew back then? She was a cable TV actress from Los Angeles. He was a royal, moving in the tightest, most exclusive circles in the world. Their paths weren't supposed to cross. Yet here they were, looking familiar. Too familiar. It wasn't just shocking, it was confusing. Meghan had spent years talking about her hustle, her auditions, her struggle. She'd painted a picture of clawing her way up the Hollywood ladder. So when these photos popped up showing her mingling with royalty before Harry, people couldn't make sense of it. Why had this entire chapter been scrubbed out of her story? Why had none of this ever come up in interviews, documentaries, or podcasts? This wasn't just a missing piece, it was an entire erased chapter. And that's when everyone realized this wasn't about a few old photos. This was about the story Meghan had built. The self-made outsider who fell in love with a prince tale that had inspired millions suddenly didn't add up. The yacht photos told another version, a woman already comfortable in the circles of power. The contrast was too big to ignore, and that's what made it dangerous. The Sussex brand was built on being real, relatable, truth-telling. But these photos screamed the opposite: privilege, polish, and connections that contradicted her carefully managed underdog image. And the timing? Brutal. Because it wasn't just Meghan's past in question, it was her credibility, her entire public identity. So why did Fergie do it? Why now? After decades of keeping royal secrets, why drop this bombshell? Simple. Revenge, and maybe a little truth-telling of her own. Sarah Ferguson had been silent for years. The royal outcast, the one always dragged into scandals that weren't hers. Every time Andrew's name came up in controversy, hers got pulled along. She played the game, smiled for cameras, did charity work, spoke about forgiveness, but deep down, resentment had been brewing. And then she watched Meghan, watched her rewrite her own story, cast herself as the innocent who had no idea how cruel royal life could be. Watched her sit in interviews painting the monarchy as villains, and maybe, just maybe, that was the final straw. Because Fergie knew. She knew Meghan wasn't as naive as she claimed. She'd seen the yacht days, the photos, the connections, the charm that had opened doors long before Harry ever arrived. So, Fergie pulled out her ace, those hidden photos, decades old, locked away in private archives. And with one tap of her finger, she unleashed them on the world. And her caption? Sharp as a knife. Some memories should never be rewritten. Boom. Just like that, she declared war. From that moment, the royal rulebook was tossed out the window. Royals don't post receipts. Royals don't expose each other. But Fergie? She didn't care. She was done protecting reputations while hers got dragged through the mud. She had her say, and she wasn't whispering. The reaction was instant and explosive. Screenshots flooded every platform. Commentators rushed to decode her motive. Was she acting alone? Or did she have quiet backing from the palace? Was this revenge? Or was someone higher up pulling the strings? Whatever it was, one thing was clear. Fergie had changed the game. And the photos? Oh, they were real. Undeniably real. No Photoshop, no editing tricks, just raw, undeniable history. Her message was clear. You can curate your story all you want, but the truth always finds daylight. The internet ate it up. Theories piled on. TikTok edits, reaction videos, before and after, Meghan comparisons. The chaos was addictive. Meanwhile, inside that Montecito mansion, Meghan was reportedly spiraling, her phone lighting up with notifications she couldn't bear to open. The image she'd spent years polishing was cracking in real time. Friends said she cried, shouted, went silent, cycling between fury, panic, and heartbreak. Because there was no fixing this. Every move she made risked making it worse. If she spoke up, it looked defensive. If she stayed quiet, it looked guilty. The photos were authentic, she couldn't deny them, couldn't delete them, couldn't outrun them. They'd live on screens forever. And that was just the start, because whispers began spreading that Fergie's drop wasn't a one-off. Word was, she had an archive. Dozens, maybe hundreds of private photos from those lost years. Meghan's team panicked. If 2 pictures could cause this much chaos, what would 100 do? Fergie stayed silent, no interviews, no comments, just that eerie calm that said she was far from finished. It left Meghan in pure agony, waking up every day wondering, is today the day another bomb drops? The internet turned the mystery into an obsession. What else does Fergie have? It became a trending question, a meme, a symbol of the entire scandal. Fergie had the power now, and Meghan knew it. The woman who once controlled every detail of her narrative was suddenly powerless. Her team went into overdrive, trying to predict the unpredictable, writing possible responses for photos they hadn't even seen. It was madness, a game of chess where Fergie always had the next move. And through it all, the palace watched in silence. No statements, no sympathy, just that trademark royal stillness while Meghan's empire burned online. Because Fergie had done something the royals never dared do, she spoke in pictures, not words, and the world listened. The impact was nuclear. Meghan's name plastered across every headline, every trending list, every gossip show. Her brand built on authenticity and compassion now under question. Those yacht photos told another tale, and it wasn't the fairy tale she'd sold. Her team tried everything: positive press, charity highlights, speeches, PR fluff, but nothing could drown out the noise. The memes kept coming, the theories kept multiplying, and the questions never stopped. And deep down, Meghan understood this wasn't just about photos. It was about trust. Because once people start doubting your story, it's almost impossible to win them back. And that, right there, was Fergie's real victory. Days turned into weeks, but the storm didn't calm, it grew teeth. Every scroll, every headline, every trending hashtag dragged Meghan's name back into that ocean of chaos. You couldn't escape it. TikTok was flooded with analysis videos. X was a war zone of speculation. and YouTube gossip channels were minting gold with exclusive breakdowns. Meghan wasn't just part of the conversation anymore, she was the conversation. Her team was running out of strategies. Statements were written and trashed, rewritten and deleted. How could she speak when she didn't even know what Fergie had next? One wrong sentence could open the floodgates to more photos, more receipts, more contradictions. It was a waiting game, and Fergie was the only one who knew when the next round would hit. Inside Montecito, Meghan's world reportedly shrank to her phone screen. She scrolled endlessly, searching for a version of events that didn't exist. Every post dissected her expressions, every clip questioned her sincerity. Her once loyal supporters were confused, some defending, some backing away quietly. Even celebrity friends, the ones who once applauded her bravery, stayed silent, afraid of being dragged into the whirlpool. Meanwhile, Fergie said nothing. No gloating interviews, no follow-ups, no clarifications. That silence was haunting. It was like she dropped a grenade and calmly walked away while Meghan dealt with the explosion. The power dynamic had flipped. The woman once mocked as a scandal magnet now looked like the truth teller, and the woman who'd claimed transparency looked suddenly secretive. Royal insiders whispered that even the palace noticed how interesting the timing was. While Meghan battled for her image, William and Kate were out there doing public engagements, smiling, poised, untouchable. Every royal photo op now felt like a contrast, calm royalty versus chaotic exile. And the palace didn't have to say a word. They just carried on, letting the comparison speak for itself. Meghan's PR team tried flooding the media with positivity, her charity projects, her speeches, her humanitarian work, but it only looked desperate. The internet wasn't buying it. You can't erase yacht photos with good deeds. Once the public smells contradiction, they don't forget it. Weeks passed. The frenzy didn't die. It evolved. Now, every discussion about Meghan came with that subtle undertone. Can we believe her? And that's the real wound, the one that doesn't heal. When credibility breaks, it stains everything that follows. Fergie, on the other hand, had nothing to lose. Her reputation had already been dragged through every scandal imaginable. For her, this wasn't destruction, it was vindication. She reminded the world that she still had power, that her voice, her truth, her receipts still mattered. And even without saying another word, she'd reshaped how the world saw Meghan. For Meghan, there was no easy recovery. You can't outrun pictures. You can't PR your way out of proof. The internet never forgets. And those images, those two little snapshots from another lifetime, became her permanent shadow. Fergie's post didn't just reveal photos, it revealed how fragile a public persona can be. How one midnight upload can erase years of crafted storytelling. How one caption, "Some memories should never be rewritten," can dismantle an empire built on narrative control. Because that's what it came down to. Meghan had built her world around control. Control of her voice, her story, her truth. And Fergie, with one decisive move, took that away. And the cruel irony? Meghan always said she left the palace to reclaim her voice. But now, that voice had been drowned out by echoes of her own past. So as the dust finally settled, one fact stayed unshakable. Those yacht photos weren't just pictures, they were symbols. They became the receipts of contradiction, proof that every story, no matter how carefully told, has another side waiting to surface. Now, Fergie remains silent. Meghan remains watched. The internet remains addicted. And that single, haunting question still floats in the air like a ghost no one can bury. What else does Fergie have?